Welcome to Frankly K, where awareness and clarity means power. So here I do financial literacy videos, vlogs, journal with me's, book reviews. So if any of that is interesting to you, consider subscribing. And let's move forward. Today, as you saw, is about Roth IRAs. What is it? Blah, 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 blah. Roth IRA is more of an investment account, an investment savings account. People call it a retirement account simply because that's what it's really for. It's a private investing tool for retirement. And the reason why it's focused on retirement, it doesn't necessarily have to be just for retirement, but it is something that you can't touch unless you've had it for 5 years or you turned 59 and a half. No, it's unless you've had it for 5 years and you've turned 59 and a half. And the thing about it is that what makes it different from a traditional IRA, the Roth IRA is tax-free when you begin making your withdrawals. I forgot to turn on my microphone. It's tax-free, and the reason being is because it is after taxes when you put the Roth IRA money in. So you pay taxes upon putting the money into the IRA. I always reference Charles Schwab, right? Because that one was one that did a little more outreach outside of business people for a really long time. So I think they just have, if you're someone who just wants a trusted professional to handle these kinds, to help you handle these kinds of things, places like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, who have been working with individuals when it comes to investments for a good span of years, they're a good place to look. You might feel more comfortable with the people that work there just because they have licensing and expertise to help guide you through your choices. So that's a Roth IRA, and traditional IRAs have mandatory distributions. So after you turn 73, they will start giving you your money and you will start paying taxes on it. So put it in a Roth IRA. However, it is more beneficial to have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA in combination, simply because there are income limits to a Roth IRA that do not exist for the traditional IRA. Back to the income. So with a Roth IRA, the income is set and it adjusts every year. So this year it went up to like $160,000 or something like that. $160,000. I'll put the real number here. So that's if you're an individual, and then a married person is somewhere near $220,000. I'll put that number here. And those are the income limits. So you can't make any more than that amount there. And then with a traditional IRA, you don't have to have a certain income as long as you have an earned income. So both of them also, not only max income is just for Roth IRA, but max contribution number is for both. And I found out that it's the same for both. So right now, in the year 2024, the max amount of money you can put in per year is $7,000. Now you're thinking, how am I supposed to grow anything when only the max is $7,000? And that is where I will now stop talking about the basics and jump into the real reason I made this video. Because, well, there is a cap. That is $7,000. You can only, that's your max contribution. It also went up because I believe last year it was something around 5 or 6. I forgot what exactly the phrase is called, but you can ask any firm about it. And like if you're over 50, you can ask them about, you know, trying to, basically it's like a thing where you can try to play catch up, you know, for the years that you didn't have a Roth IRA. So you get to put in a little bit more if you're over 50 because they want to help you catch up with the years that you didn't invest. Now, back to this cap. There is a cap, and the reason why there's a cap is because you're not just dumping money in there. Say you went to the max. Say you're able to put in somehow that $7,000. Maybe you did the 100 envelope challenge, which I have started, by the way. You did it twice in the year, and now you've got $10,000, right? So you want to put in that $10,000 in your Roth IRA, but you can't. You can only put $7,000, and that is across all accounts. You can't open multiple Roth IRAs and each of them is $7,000. You can have multiple Roth IRAs, but the max is $7,000 across all accounts, your contribution. You can only put $7,000 in Roth IRA. Like, no matter how many you have, it can only total $7,000. Otherwise, I believe you pay a penalty for over contributing when you do your taxes, because you have to report that you over contributed. So anyway, that $7,000 is not just going to be $7,000 every year. If it is, it's probably because you did the same thing that I witnessed somebody confess themselves doing on the internet. It was a genuine mistake. It was a mistake that I think was very costly, but things happen, right? Everyone doesn't know these things, and if no one tells you or tells you where to find out, how will you know? Well, you know, because my personal philosophy is anytime you sign your name to something, you need to know how it works. Anytime, anything. And I'm not saying you have to read all the disclaimers that or whatever. It would be in your best interest to read some of them, but it's like you're signing away your money. Whenever you have a full-time job, if any of you have a full-time job, there are some part-time jobs that give benefits, but mainly it's full-time jobs that will do things like have IRAs set up for you that you can opt into, whatever, when you're doing your payroll stuff. All those things, they send you booklets of paper in the mail, and most people probably take it and throw it to the side, but you need to look at that booklet, because then it would stop you from making this mistake. This person went and opened an IRA, a Roth IRA, and just was putting money in there, apparently, for about 5 years. And that was it. And they were like, no one told me that it wasn't going to grow. I thought I would just have $1 million by the time I'm 40 because I'm putting all this money in here. And the way you quote unquote get to $1 million is because you don't just dump the money into a Roth IRA account unless it's automatic, like through your job or through a firm that you have somebody, you know, somebody working on your account. And the reason why is because when you do it through your job, the job takes that money, takes your contribution from your check. You pay your taxes through the company. They take that after-tax money, they put it in this account, and then they use that money to fund different, like, assets. Okay, so it may be a mixture of things. A lot of it is tied to the company. It's not just putting the money in the account. It is playing with the different markets. So they'll have like ETFs, which is like a whole like a little portfolio of assets and securities, and it might include stocks, it includes bonds, it includes like mutual funds, other things. Now it could include Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is an ETF on the New York stock market. Those are the different kinds of assets that go into making the Roth IRA grow. So you make yourself like a little portfolio, a little booklet of treasures, and you have to, if you're going to do it by yourself, you have to learn to play with the balance of those things. I don't know how often you want to do it, maybe quarter, you want to play with it monthly, you want to do it annually, and figure out what's growing, what's been giving you the most benefit at the time, and adjust it every so often. Or you can work with, like I said before, a licensed professional and really have them help you do that. It's up to you. So a lot of places offer those kinds of services, but you have to know that it's not just putting your money there. The whole reason some people can just dump money there, like when you do it through your Burger King, is because Burger King takes care of all that. Burger King goes and buys the Burger King stocks, and they go and they buy the Burger King ETFs, I don't know, like whatever they're gonna go and invest that Roth IRA account in. And they show you, like I said, they show you, so you should know. They break it down for you in those booklets that they send to your house. It's also, every time you go, most things are online, so if you go into your little profile, you should be able to click on like where your contributions are, and then again, it will break down where, you know, it'll take you to your account. So a lot of places go through places like Fidelity, so it should take you to your Fidelity account, and the Fidelity account will tell you exactly where each piece of money is going, and you need to know that because it's your money. It's also your future. This is a retirement account. Say you work at Burger King And Burger King is offering Roth IRAs. When you do your 2% contribution from your check and you put it over there, if they match, most companies match at what, 4% or something like that, maybe 8, I don't know, whatever they match with. Say they match at 4%, so you put 4%, and now they put 4%. Your company, Burger King, puts 4%. So now you have 8% of your check after taxes going into this Roth IRA account. When it goes into that Roth IRA account, Burger King will now take that money and invest it in multiple things. It will go up and down, because that's the nature of like a stock market, because some of them will be stocks, some might be bonds, things like that. They'll play with the assets that are in your chart, not without telling you though. So most of the time at a company, they don't just move stuff around. It'll be more like, a lot of times I've seen it adjust to the higher earning thing, and most of the time it's in the company. It'll probably most likely be Burger King stocks and bonds for, the Burger King. Right, I don't know. Whatever they have, you look at it though, because you should know. That's how the money grows in a Roth or a traditional IRA, like in an IRA account, investment retirement account. If you're going through your job into the company that you work with, they really just they want to tie you all up, because they're thinking you're investing your retirement in here. And the fact is that because you've done that, you'll work harder towards making the company a success. You don't want it to tank, because then your whole retirement's gone. So, but you can also open these things outside of your company. So even if your company does it, I say do it, because you can always roll it over. Even if you leave, you can roll that over to the next place that you go, or you can roll it over into something that you handle privately. It's not attached to your job anymore. But the same thing still applies. If you open it by yourself, you have to go in there, or you can pay the fee that most places have and have a licensed, experienced professional do that for you, where they start looking at which stocks to invest in, which assets, things to invest in to help grow this account while you're making your contributions. And notice I said there's max contributions, meaning a lot of places I don't think have that much of a minimum, but some do, especially when it comes with a broker. Some may have a minimum because, there's like a buying sell fee, and they don't want to waste your time, right? So there's no problem saving up a little bit, like saving $5, $5, $5, $5 until you get to something like 100. Or you can start little by little, try to do it yourself so that you learn how this thing works, get more familiar with it. If you don't want to be that hands-on though, but you still want to, it's still important to know what's going on. So you still want to know what's going on, but maybe you don't want to be handling yourself. You don't want to, it feels like too much stress, too much of something you don't want to do. That's why you get, a broker who does it for you. That's the whole video. Just letting you guys know that you have to learn to read the things that are given to you. And if you don't understand it, Google is your best friend. Go to reputable sites. Media literacy is another thing. Because so many things are on the internet, there's a lot of websites that have names that look very official. And you might see something like financebroker.com, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? That looks good. But just try to look for reputable sites that have been doing stuff for years, because they break things down in plain English a lot. Be wary of sites that don't break things down in plain English. Mainly because, one, you're not their target audience, so the things on there might not always be relevant to you. Two, the fact is that they're not breaking it down in plain English. A long time ago, I had a professor say, if a professional can't break something down to you in a way you understand, it means they don't understand it. Now, that's different from somebody immediately talking and they use a lot of professional jargon, especially in papers or in a presentation. You're going to hear a lot of professional jargon because that is what is of the community that they're in. Linguistics are always part of the communities that you are involved in. But you, say they're talking to you outside of this community. They should be able to be like, oh, so what that is that they can use the professional jargon because that can solidify in your head, oh, this person is a professional. But when you ask, what does that mean? Never be afraid to ask, what does that mean? It does not matter if they're giving you looks, or if they're telling you that they don't know how to explain it, if they're saying don't worry about it, that's not okay. You do need to worry about it, because when professionals are talking to you, it means that they are taking your money, meaning that they have to explain these things to you when you don't understand, because you work very hard for that money, and so you should know exactly what's going on. This is at the hospital, this is at the bank, this is at an investment firm, this is at the person building your house, this is the engineer building your office building. All of that. People can use professional jargon. It is very important. It's got a time, it's got a place, it's necessity, because sometimes professional jargon makes things succinct when you're talking to other professionals or people who just know about your profession. However, that succinct language isn't always the clearest language for someone who's not familiar with the business. Okay, so that is why I advocate asking questions. If you hear a word or a phrase or a term you don't know, always be like, what does that mean? And if someone's trying to give you flack about that, then that is not the person or the place for you, because that is not something that, if they can't, the reason why they give you flack is because they can't explain it. Best example is when I go to the hospital and I ask, what does that mean? And somebody's like, well, it's hard to explain. I'm like, try. Because one, they're either talking down to you, thinking that you won't understand, or two, they don't know how to explain it because they don't actually know what's going on. They just know how to regurgitate professional language, okay? And I know this because I had two people in my direct household in the medical profession. They also repeated the same thing my professors told me, okay? People should be able to break things down to you where you're at. Otherwise, they don't actually get it, because all that takes is knowing the core concepts of something in order to break something down. Okay, now it might skip their mind. Again, I'm saying it might skip someone's mind. They might automatically just be thinking in that terminology. But the key here is when you stop them and say, I'm sorry, what does that mean? Or what is that? It should be a various reaction of, oh, well, okay, sorry, let me break it down this way, right? It should be some kind of thing where they realize, oh, let me say it in another way. Let me try to explain myself, right? My mother was a registered nurse, okay, in the trauma unit. And she said the thing is, you use your jargon all you want, but when somebody asks you what it means, you need to be able to tell them in a way that they can understand. Otherwise, you must not understand. And that was real. And that's the same thing with finance, okay? Someone can use jargon. It might make you feel like, oh, this is professional, they're really learned. This is great. But if you don't know what something means and you ask them and they say, oh, it's too hard to explain, or don't worry about it, you'd be like, no, I'll worry about it. I'll tell me what to worry about. Okay? You have people break things down. Now, there are some things that people can't discuss in totality because there might be like legal things behind it or non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that in finance. But when it comes to basic concepts and when it comes to someone who is working directly with you and your finances, they should be able to break things down to you as best as they can. And that varies from person to person. So just find the person that knows how to talk to you. Okay? And, videos like this, where someone is this way, it doesn't have to be mine, right? I'd like it to be mine, but I am sure there are other people on here doing something very similar. But just, look for someone who will help you learn basics. And then you can take that knowledge and expand on it and start, being more confident with professional jargon. It's not necessary, especially if you're not in the industry, but yeah. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I hope this cleared up the IRA things. I don't know if I need to talk more about IRAs, but in case you didn't know, any additional information and stuff, I usually add in these description boxes. So read the description boxes. read them because I have put more information in there. Read it. All right. Bye. Bye. Bye.